Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Tuesday before Thanksgiving, at least here in the States. For the rest of the world, Canada already had their Thanksgiving, but for us, we are 2 days away from Thanksgiving, and then the biggest shopping day of the year with Black Friday, unless Cyber Monday is catching up to it. But anyway, it's it's one of those times that we're just going to have fun, and today's going to be fun with the guests I have. And we've got an anthology that will be coming out a week from Friday. So it is very close. We're putting the final touches on it. My dear sis and I putting it together. But I want to start off with what I always like to talk about, which is check in on those around you. See how others are doing. There's going to be people that you know that you saw go through a difficult time at some point, and now they probably look fine. But it could have been a health scare. It could have been a family issue. There's so many things. And so many of those things actually, while you think they look good after a couple of weeks, a month, a couple of months, even six months to a year, like, oh, they look like they're doing fine. And you don't bother to check in. Well, check in anyway, because they may not be doing fine. We're so good at covering ourselves, wearing masks. And I talk about this all the time. What does it mean to wear these masks and hide whatever's our authentic self, but also to hide how we're doing? I feel like this world has kind of been designed to make us hide. So check in on those around you, especially anybody that you know has gone through something, even if it was earlier this year, at the beginning of the year. Check in, see how they're doing. And when it comes to my sponsors, well, I have to start with my dear sis, Dr. Constance LEYLAND, Level Up Academy, the queen of promotions and marketing, and she probably has another title in there I forgot about, but that's just what CJ does. And that's why I love working with her. So Level Up Academy, she's got your press releases, public relations, publicity, education. We're doing anthologies, we're doing books, and I know that very soon a catalog is going to be coming out, because it's like with her and I, until we sit down and actually figure out what we are doing, sometimes it's hard to remember what we are doing, what all we have. So that's coming. So spoilers on that, I guess. But public relations. She's got access to be able to write press releases and send it to almost any industry that you might be in, any industry that you're interested in, that you want to get your message out to. So touch base with her. Make sure that you're, and what I'm saying is, touch base with her with the message you want to get out there. Maybe you're not sure if it's ready to go out or not. Give her a quick DM, let her know where you're at, see how she can help, because there's the press releases like this, and then she also has access to premium magazines. And those are the ones, press releases have a cost, but premium magazines have big costs. And it can be anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars to get into 800 words into one magazine. But if you want to do it, she's the one to talk to. And then we have the Hounds of Business. And when my dear sis and I, we are both always saying this now, it's like collaboration over competition. And what is it about that? When you're competing, you're kind of trying to pound the other person down. It's kind of like how we've been taught. But when you collaborate, when you work with people, even if they're doing the same thing that you are, maybe you're both writing copy for somebody, but you're in the medical field and they're in technology, or you're both in medical, but you're doing different things. Collaboration means you can actually work together and find more opportunities, find more ways to create those opportunities. And there's actually a lot of learning aspects to it as well, because when you collaborate with somebody, you're also sharing skills, you're learning how to interact with other people. It's really, it makes life so much easier, and it reduces the stress. In many ways, it really reduces the stress, because you're not trying to find that next thing to try and take away from somebody. You're working together to create opportunities, so Hounds of Business, that's what they do. It's a community. You've got a lot of different people in there, different organizations. The focus is on collaboration. So check out the Hounds of Business on LinkedIn. Check out Mike Ashabraner, who happens to be the leader of the pack, and see what's going on and see how maybe you would fit into this. And then I want to throw out, because we are doing a Black Friday sale. This is our next anthology that's coming up. CJ is running this one. The Chronicles of Scattered Pages, stories from everywhere. Scan the QR code for more details, because we've got this. I mean, a lot of people, they will say, oh, collaboration, I only do free. Well, I'm sorry, but collaboration is not always free. There's stuff that it gets involved. So if somebody's like, I only work for, I don't pay for anything, that's probably not the person you want to work with, because that means they're going to take from you. They're not really going to give, no matter what they say. In this case, we like working together with people because we do everything for you. All the marketing, all the editing, putting it together. All the authors have to do is write their story, and then we're there to help them through the process. But this one is very different. So normally we have a $500 fee to get in, and a lot of people we've got some discounts in there, but we're putting it until Saturday, until the end of the month. We're putting it at $300. So scan the QR code, check it out, see what it's like. And unlike our other anthologies, which had a theme, the theme for this one is not a theme. We want authors to write whatever they want. We're talking about 2,000 words. It's not really that difficult, especially when you're writing about yourself and you're not having to think about, how do I make my story fit a topic? Here's a case where you're not just making it fit the topic because the topic is anything. It's scattered. It's stories from everywhere. And I'm going to bring up my dear sis to just talk a little bit more about this before we bring everybody else up.
Yes, I'm so excited about this. Actually, at the very beginning, when I got to give credit where credit is due, Paulette was talking to me about like, hey, imagine if you will be the first one. That's what she said, to do this, because all anthologies I've been in and some other anthologies that I've gone to is always a theme. And it's so annoying sometimes because you don't fit in a theme, like your story. It's really hard to figure it out. But imagine if you do this first, where your theme is no theme, meaning just have people tell their story, right? But I was like, why stop there? Why not get a poetry? If you're a poet and didn't know it, which sometimes I do, so I'm like, oh, I'm a poet and didn't know it. Yeah, put poetry in. I know Dr. Glave is really good at poetry. You can do poetry. You want to talk about your neighbor, but you don't want to talk about your neighbor by like naming them. Oh yeah, put that story out. I was actually sharing with my dear sister Susannah and Dr. Mary that I might be talking about my dog, called Patience, because I don't got none. But then Cheerio really pushed my button and Duke to be patient, to be more patient. And I think I got depleted because of my two kids. They're, one is an adult and the other one's heading to adulthood next year. I ran out of patience. I didn't know that was possible. And God is telling me, no, you continue that road to be patient with people, including yourself. And yeah, this anthology is going to be amazing. So if you scan the pages or the link, we actually are giving ideas to people and also a little bit of break, right? It's been hard years for some of us financially. So the quality doesn't go up. People are like, oh my God, it's cheap. It's not quality. We don't know any better to lower our quality just because the price is lower. That's not how we work, because that's
Nope.
our brand, that's our livelihood, and that is our face in there. So no, the quality doesn't get lowered. It's just we're giving everybody a chance to come in and join a collaboration. And then from December, it's going to go to 400. And then on January, it's going to go back up. But we can't promise that we're always going to be $500. Just give you guys like a future heads up. It's not always going to be 500 for our anthology. We're going to move it up and level it up some more as we give more value to our partners and alliances. So thank you for that, sis.
See, you're the one that's running this one anyway, so I wanted to make sure that it was perfect timing to bring you up before we bring the others. And then the other thing that I love about this, because it's stories from anywhere, as you're talking about, it's like you want to talk about your neighbor, but you don't want to name them. Well, you can just make a fiction story about
Yep.
whatever you want. That, yeah, you know who it is that you're talking about, that you're writing
Nobody else
about,
does.
but
Yeah.
nobody else does because you've made everything else up. So that's another one of the beauty aspects of this book is we don't know what's going to be in it. It could be anywhere from somebody that just they're talking all business because they're like promoting some technology business something, to somebody writing a rom-com. I don't know. It could be it could be a very wide assortment of what's going to be in this because it's everywhere and everything.
Yeah, and it's. I think it's exciting to read a book when there is no expectations. So you flip the pages and the chapters, you don't know what's coming at you. I think that's exciting. It's like opening Christmas boxes everywhere, especially if you're if you're a reader and you don't want to read too much going on, but you want to be entertained and learn something at the same time. I think that's a really amazing book in the future for sure.
Exactly. And I'm looking forward to this conversation because in many ways it's a follow-up to your TV show last week,
Yep.
because we had all four of us were on that plus one. So it's like we're missing that one, but hey, it's okay. This is everybody that was in the book, and there's excitement in terms of who we've got. So I'm just going to start bringing them up. I mean, we finally got Mary into a book. So
Finally.
Thank you so much for having me on and for including me in this book. I'm so excited.
It's like I know both of us have been reaching out to you constantly. It's like, come on, and so finally you're like, I don't think you even let us ask you this time. You jumped in and said, all right, I'm in. How do we do this? How do we make
Well,
it
it was
happen?
all about timing, really. Like it was more about like timing in my life. I just was going through a couple things before. I had to get those resolved. I had to
Oh,
be in
yeah.
a positive mindset to be able to spread a positive message. And the timing was just perfect. Like sometimes things kind of are in life. The timing was just, it was so smooth and perfect. And I always knew if I was going to write in anything, it would be with you two. So that wasn't even a question of who, it was a question of when. So finally it all just clicked. And this new anthology you have sounds really fascinating, by the way. The one where you can
It's
write about anything at all. That sounds pretty interesting
exactly.
too.
It's not only gonna be fun to read, it's gonna be interesting to see how we put it together.
Yeah.
That's always the fun part. How is between the two of us and normally CJ, how is it gonna get laid out? Well, we both put things together, but you have that vision sometimes. It's like once you've laid it out, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I like
But
to weave the story in to get like that excitement, and then you go pull down and pull up and then go up again and down. Like I like those kind of dramatic story. I'm dramatic, so I like dramatic stories.
Exactly. And I will probably go more towards a fiction side on this one because
Oh yeah.
I need to get those juices going. But I think we need to bring up the last sister, don't we?
Yes, we need another sister up here. Oh my god, he did the selfie. I love it.
Yeah. Look, y'all ready? You want to?
Mike,
See, I've been
안녕하세요.
practicing.
You gotta do the heart, bro. You gotta do the heart.
Sure.
Oh, I love
So,
it.
did you all hear that? Did you all hear that? So what I just heard, all right, correct me if I'm wrong. We played the long game, didn't push, didn't pitch slap, didn't pester, didn't bother, didn't try to fit her in our timing, blah, 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 blah. And we just kept saying we're here if when you're ready. And it worked. Y'all see that? So that's the difference between farming and hunting, guys. That's and it's proof positive that if you treat people well, put their best interest truly first, then this happens because Mary's not the type of person to run around and just start telling people 'cause she's smart enough to know not everything's honest and as it seems. So that's called fruit. And the only thing I care about is fruit, not perfection, but fruit. Hey, is the work and the words you do every day, is that actually produce something worth value? Is that legacy building? Is that pushing people up? So I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying it tells me that we're doing the right thing. If we're attracting and retaining folks like Mary and people are attracted to us and they see our fruit, that means I want to do more faster. And that's why the Hounds is going to go next level December 1st, because we want more people to be impacted. We want more folks like her to come out, be empowered and grow. And that's what we're about 1000%. Am I wrong, CJ? Susannah? No.
No.
You're not wrong at all. I think the there's a differentiator, right? And people will label it however they want to label it. There is a difference between a community who's really for business and a community who's not. The best way I can PC put it about it. So many things going through my head right now, trying to be PC. But literally, I think the difference is the consistent heart and the consistent give value, right? That's what our community is all about, is about that value. Now, if you weren't consistently giving me value, I don't care how nice, how cute you are, I would be leaving. That's just who I am. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have bazillion followers. I don't care. If you don't have the heart for the people and truly be there for the people, not halfway there, but truly being there, then I'm not for you. And that's okay. You know, you'll attract who you want to be. And I think right now, Mike, with the HOB, we have leveled up so many times that we're attracting the right people in the right mindset who wants to level up their business, not the drama business. Okay. I'm talking about business. Okay.
And think about it. Think about Mary. Like, what is she? She's always throwing parties. She's always recognizing people at work. You know, that's
Aw.
why I was like, hey, that's what I mean. It's hand in glove, right? She has cookies, we have milk. It's that's what we're trying to do. And again, if I have a hair salon and bald people are running in there, well, that's probably a waste of time and money. It's frustrating. What we're trying to do is say, look, we have hats and wigs. If you're interested, take a look. And it works. So I'm just excited. I'm tired, but I'm excited because it's again, it's so wild to say, hey, you don't have to have 40 coffee chats and send 18,000 spam messages. If you truly care about someone else and they're the right people, they'll reciprocate in their own time. And so anyway, that's all I wanted to say, is that it works because we're all here because somebody introduced us, we saw something of value, and then we started building real relationships with one another, man. So yeah, I'm deep
Okay.
today, but that's okay.
Shout out to Michelle Ramos. Okay. She is one of for me, she's a new friend, right?
Mhm.
But she's the most authentic person you'll meet. And okay. How do I even say this? I don't even have the right words because my migraine's kicking in all morning, but like, she is super smart to see people through their mask, right? Michelle is that type of person that she will research the person first before she engage, right? And that's why she's perfect for the Hounds, is because I hear something like, oh, the community is, whatever. But it's not for everybody. You're never going to be best friends with everybody. You're only going to click with
Yeah.
someone. And that's one thing I love about HOB and the anthologies, because Mike is really the center. Almost said the center of attention, but the hub. Because Susannah and I met through HOB, really, right? Like, kinda. We're not even going to talk about the past,
Okay.
kinda. Mary, I met through HOB, right? And Michelle, I met before HOB. But the thing is, we're all bringing our friends who deserves a community that gives them space and not be in your throat. I can tell you what, I've never sent a DM to anybody asking or anything unless they're my friends. I don't just randomly spam people. I hate spammers. It drives me insane. That's why I have an automatic message. And that's why my calendar is not open till July or August.
I swear, every week it goes out another month or two. Because now, I mean, it wasn't a month ago that you're like, oh, it's in June. And
Oh,
then
yeah, now it's almost August.
August and probably getting into September right now. Go, Mike.
Well, I forgot this wasn't my show. Susanna's going to hit me with the newspaper. Like, I'm training puppies.
Sorry, Mike, bye.
You're going to hit some questions.
Yeah. but real quick, though, the reason I brought that up is because the only thing that matters, look, we partner. And here's what's fun. I've been helping people create that. So I've always wanted to partner, and I still open the partnership with other communities. I'm at Level Up, right? But here's what's fun. Now we're helping people develop their own, like Christine Bell, right? You cannot get, if you're an entrepreneur and you're just starting off with all passion and no clue and a very thin budget, you cannot get someone who's performed at her level, right, with her resume to help you build a sustainable model and a strategy. So yes, absolutely. When all these people come into the hounds, because the only thing that qualifies them is integrity. That's it. That's if you try to do the right thing and you're consistent in that, man, I'm with you. But then we got Dr. D'Angelo, right? He's doing things. So this is a very fun time to help create new things. And I'm not going to spill CJ's beans, but that's our thing. Where it's not about us, but we do have very high standards. And I think that's why I love writing this anthology, because at first I didn't want to do it. And I was like, well, I got all these excuses we all give, but I'm so glad I wrote it, because now I understand even more clearly why I do what I do, right? And the whole point of it is it helped me to flush out my message so other people who don't know us yet hear the message and go, oh, I want to check that out, right? It's all it is. It's just putting your bat symbol in the sky, not trying to convince anyone. Just say, hey, if you're stray trying to figure it out, you think you're a weirdo, you think you're not good enough, maybe you just lack the support and resources, right? So this is why the anthology really excites me, because now my message is even more dialed in. And I can go out there and say things that will attract people like you guys, so we can do it on a larger scale. So take the show back, Suzanne. Don't hit me. I'm good.
What you said actually led into, because we're talking about the next anthology, which is like wide open. But what you just said, that fits one of the reasons why we do have themes on most of our anthologies. Because if you didn't have this particular theme that you were writing to, if you didn't agree to write to it, and then you've got this theme, against the grain, you wouldn't have been able to get that clarity that you just got writing for this anthology. You might still not have that clarity. And you picked that up over the past few weeks, because I mean, when we write, we start basically the first of the month, and within 3 weeks total, it's done. Everybody's pretty much done with their chapter, and that's up to CJ and I to put everything together, ask last questions when we see something. It's like, okay, I can change this, but this I can't change. I need to ask somebody, that because the authors, it's their chapters. So what I want to do with this, I want to ask you guys, because I have the three of you are at different stages of authorship. We'll put it that way. Mary is brand new. Mikey is a novice. And CJ's got more than I do. I mean, okay, I'm just gonna say, yes, a lot of them are workbooks and stuff too, but it's still published, and a lot of it was self-published too. So I want to get an idea from each of you. What was it really like from these different levels to work on an anthology like this? And I'm going to start with Mary because she's first. Go Mary, Mike, Mary, Mike, Jay.
Yes, no, thank you. It was just a wonderful experience. Honestly, it's kind of overwhelming to just kind of be like, okay, I want to write. I always kind of knew that I wanted to write something. Just didn't know how to even do it. I didn't even know where to start. I thought, well, maybe a kid's book, because maybe that's easier. Maybe just like a young adult book, because I have lots of stories in my head. Like I just didn't, I knew I was always a writer. I just didn't know how to even start doing it. And I had no clue where to even begin. I mean, I heard about, like the author of Twilight sending 500 copies to different publishers, and someone got rejected. And then one person on the, I don't know, this isn't true, but 499th time said yes. And I just didn't want to deal with that. So I just never did it. I just put that dream aside and said, maybe that isn't for me in this life. Maybe some other time, but maybe just not this round. Right. But then, working with you guys, this opportunity came up, and just from the beginning, it just seemed so smooth and easy, where I had the support, where I didn't have to think about anything except, what do I want to share with the world, and what's my message with the world? Let me focus on that. And then my friends, you all can take care of everything else. And there's so many opportunities out on social media and on LinkedIn. We're always getting messages of join mine, come write with me. We're going to put something out. But I really needed people that I knew I would trust. And when I heard that Mike was working with you guys a couple times, I messaged him and I said, okay, I trust you, Mike. I trust you as my friend. And I know that you always are attracted and vibe with good, caring people. So what do you like? Did you like this experience? Is this real? Or, I just want to know if this is real. And if you like this experience, then I'm going to 100% trust it, because I trust you. And I know that you have good sense and judgment in people. And so he said, I love Dr. CJ and Susannah. They are amazing human beings. I'm like, well, I knew that already, but this just confirmed it. And so then after that, I didn't even have to worry. I'm like, whatever you guys want, I'm there. What do I need to do? And then you both just said, just write your story. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to write my story. And it was just a smooth, nice, it was just a beautiful experience. I don't know how else to describe it. It was just a beautiful experience. You guys took care of everything. You made edits and suggestions, and I trusted those, and I made those. And then I just sent in another copy. And I didn't have to worry about anything. I don't really want to even think about like promotion and market. I just want to tell a story of what I want to share with the world. And that's all I want to do. I don't want to think about funding and how to get it everywhere and where it goes. And I just didn't want to have to think about it. And I knew that with you all, I wouldn't have to. I could just be what I wanted to be, which was an author. And that just was my dream. And now my dream came true. And I'm so excited. And thank you all so much.
And that's, I love the fact, what I love great now is with all three of you, I'm your editor. So it's like, I get to work with each one of you on yours. CJ and I, we work on each other. CJ had Mike last time. And that's what we want it though, is to be able to give you ideas. And it's really up to the authors, whether they take it or not. CJ will throw out titles. She will give a lot of feedback, and it for both of us is like, you take it, you don't. We still have certain standards that have to be met, and away we go. So you've gotten that initial taste of it. Now for you, Mike, it's like you're at the novice level. So with that, what was it like working on this, and was it any different than the first time?
Yeah, it was similar, but you guys are learning human beings, right? So you ladies have improved over the last couple, because I didn't get to go in the last one. I didn't opt into the last anthology. So you streamlined it, made it clear. But just to say what Mary, just to agree with her, first of all, I should have wrote a children's book too. That would have been the first thing. Y'all should have done a children's book and let me and Mary write it Dr. Seuss style. Number two, it's the support in the system. That's why it works. Because I don't, like Mary said, I don't know what I'm doing. right? It's like, handing a kid a gun and say, hey, good luck. Like, no, who would do that? And so you're handing me and say, hey, Mike, write, and I have no clue. I have no clue of even the right questions to ask, what's wise, what's unwise. I have the least amount of knowledge. Only when I hear CJ talk about on audios about, ownership. I had no idea that was even a thing. Like, can I use my chapter elsewhere? And, so you ladies do it two things. It absolutely comes down to trust. Because even if I ask all the questions, I mean, I only know what I know, right? So you should do your homework, you should do your research, but at some point you just have to say, hey, do I trust my gut? And are these two up to no good, or are they the real deal? Right. And I love that, because that's why we exist. It's just, and that's why it takes some time, because you have to build authentic relationships. Listen, it's no difference in marketing and dating. Look, some people will get married in Vegas in 2 minutes, right? Like, very few of the population. Another 2% of the population will hold hands and pop kids for 3 years, right? And then most of us somewhere fall in the middle of that spectrum. So that's the way I view business and marketing, and whether I should join this anthology or write it all or whatever. It really comes down to, who do I align with? And that's what I said earlier. When Mary's always talking about pushing people up, what is she always posting? Celebrating others. Well, it made total sense to say, hey, that's what we do, and we're writing about it. Would you like to join us? Right? It wasn't like, hey, we need a third author just to get a book filled, and we'll just pull anybody. Like, there's a vastly different heart attitude. So I think that's what it comes down to is, hey, and I've done it too. I brought maybe 4 or 5 people to this anthology, but it was all real. Like, I had a lady that wrote a certain thing. And when she sent that story to me, I went, holy cow, that belongs here. Like, I didn't even mention it until it was after the fact, because it's legitimate, right? It was a sincere, hey, I wasn't even going to mention this, but this is going to be a good thing for you. So I think that's what it matters, is people say, hey, we're not perfect, but we're going to do it in your best interest, in my immediate best interest. And that is a very rare thing. And that's why the people are attracted to Level Up and you ladies and the hounds, because look, Dolph Lundgren is selling deodorant and he's 20 again. Like, how do we know what's real and what's not real? It's weird. Robots are talking to robots, right? Nobody is what they appear. So, it's refreshing to go, oh, that person actually walks the walk, talks the talk, and I can really, develop this relationship with this person, right? And I can ask questions without them being offended. There's all kind of things that go into it. But I think you ladies hit the nail on the head with this subject, this topic. It's a hot topic. It's something that people don't talk a lot about, but they might be willing to read about, right? So I think a lot of thought went into this, and that's what matters to me. You're very intentional, and you just don't do things to do things. And that, because if I put my name on something, I want to make sure people go, oh, that was a great deal. I don't want to put my name on something where people go, yeah, that was a bunch of hooey, right? And that's why this works. I endorse CJ because I believe in CJ, right? And it rubs off, because Mary knows I ain't going to say CJ is great if she's out there like robbing old ladies' pies out their windows and stuff. Like, so just put the integrity first, and, have fun. That's the whole thing. We're having a lot of fun back here. And I always thought writing a book would suck, to be honest. I really did. So y'all hit the nail on the head. Again, you didn't pay me to say this, but I love putting out good stuff. I love the authors I'm writing with, and I love the opportunity it brings. I'm really just grateful.
Thanks,
Well,
bro.
Two things
I
I'm
love it.
going to follow that up with before I let CJ talk. First off, Dolph Lundgren. If you keep pulling him up, it's like, you do know he's the original Punisher, right?
Yeah, I promise you all, if Dolph comes to kick my butt, we'll live stream it.
I'm saying he was. You see all these Punisher movies now. It's like he was the original. I don't think you can even get that one anymore, as well as Red Scorpion. So it's like, okay.
Monkey forward.
It's like, okay, I love my ADHD, I guess, because whatever the other one was, it already flew away. So I'm going to take it to CJ, because you've done a lot of these. We've done a lot of these together. You've kind of touched on this, but how do you see the difference between these anthologies that you and I have done, especially after hearing what both Mary and Mike have said, versus some of the ones that we've been on, that we were a part of?
Okay. The reason that we do what we do, we technically could charge 20 grand, by the way, just to FYI. Because there's so many legal aspects that we don't even bother you guys with it. When you are part of our anthology, it's not a hoo-hoo, wow, let's just get in to write them right because I love writing. There are so many technical aspects. It's not because, oh, it's an Amazon. It's Amazon is in 15 countries, people. So if you have not done your due diligence, Beyond Boundaries went to 150,000 bookstores, right? It went to the China's Business Expo. It's because of quality that we put, but also knowing where to put your books. Just like what Mary said, I'm going to loop back. It's so much when you are an author. There's so much to do. I was in audio room with Jay. He was so disappointed. He has his book ready, but he couldn't launch because he realized it's not just about putting in Amazon. He's already on KDB, but now he needs the marketing part. That's why I created the audio room on publisher. Just because someone claims they're a publisher, are they really a publisher? And that's why I gave you 40 plus questions to ask your publisher. You don't have to go with us. Take the questions, ask your publisher. If even less than 20% they can answer you with a straight face, run away. Because they will run away with your money. This is your life's worth. This is your legacy. This is your impact. We don't just take care of your intellectual property. We take care of your heart. You will be a broken person knowing you're telling your story, but it doesn't go anywhere, just like Kim Lee. She paid 30 grand to get her story 5 years ago, and it's still not a story. I invited her because I heard her in audio room. I said, you don't have to pay me 30 grand, but if you want to, tips is included, go for it. But I'm only asking 5. Let's go. And we do marketing for you, right? Because here's the thing. What you don't understand is I'm an academic. I will research. I am an advanced student more than any other students. I don't look at myself and like, oh, I'm a teacher. I know everything. I don't. But I have an R&D team, 600 of them every 5 weeks, just FYI. Okay. And I showed Mike how my R&D team looks like. They're all military, by the way. Thank you very much. Right. So what does that mean? When we do things and we put out things, we already have thought about it. Not just because I like writing, I'm going to do this. No, I'm glad you like writing, but there's technical, there is marketing and publishing it. It's not just tell my podcast friends to get it out there. It's not about that, right? And here's another thing. Oh, I'm hoping I'm manifesting. I'm trying to get an academic publishing for 100 grand, and we'll see if I can get it free. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm manifesting it because I want it to be in 200,000 libraries all over the world from Germany, right? These are some of the things that people know me based on my academic background. So when you go with our anthology, it's not just writing about your story. We're taking care of your heart, people. We're taking care of the things that you didn't even think about possible could go wrong. Maybe later on, 5 years later on, you could get sued from one of your anthology people because you didn't have a contract. I've heard CJ always has a contract. It's such a daunting task. That is wrong because we're trying to protect you if Amazon goes after you. We're trying to protect you, right? And so it's just so funny. And I love writing anthologies because it's fun for us and it's a quick thing. But at the same time, we are doing the way we do because we had so many anthology people that we wrote with. They suck. I'm just going to say that in a nicer way. They suck. So we're trying to make it better.
Let me chime in a minute because, again, I'm a positive. We're all positive people, but the counterbalance, the positive is negative. And I was on a group call the other day. Every day I do a Hounds group call, right? Tuesdays and some Thursdays. Shameless plug. And every time it never fails. I talk about why we exist and what we do and the output of why we're here, right? And just last week, a lady popped in and said, "Oh, I want to be a TEDx speaker." I was really excited. I met somebody on, social media with TEDx. And guess what? Long story shorter, money kept trickling out, no results, promises, empty promises. And this person's out. And then they said, "Well, how do I get what I signed up for?" And they're like, "Pay me more money." Ain't that heartbreaking? Absolutely heartbreaking that's what people face. So we're not sitting here going, oh, gloom and doom. What we're saying is that's a problem. And when you get bit by a snake or you get an antidote. So that's what it's not about being negative. It's about providing solutions that real people face. Because here's the bottom line: they have a desire to make a difference. And they won't, because of this kind of stuff, right? They take their last $3,000 and it goes to the toilet. And that's why we exist. We want to make sure that people, hey, you have the support resources, you have these things, you have people who are going to tell you straight. And it's sad. That's why it's not for any other reason than the stuff that I faced. I found a solution for it. And I realized it wasn't just me. Other people are facing this. They're facing all the same challenges. So when you're a good-hearted person that really wants to make an impact, it's difficult to figure out who also has that shared value system. And that's why we do what we do. I always want to put that on the record, because I see things and I go, that sucks. That person will not do the great impact. We have people that are survival rates in cancer that are, like, this is important, life-changing stuff that we can help promote and support. So that's what I want to make sure. I didn't mean to take all the show, but
No,
I
but I
just
love
wanted to
what
make
you
sure
said
that
though,
that's our
because
intention.
you literally took your experiences, put it the anthology so other people can also learn from your heartache, literally, right? And we take care of each other's hearts at the end of the day. And that's
Mhm.
why I want to ask my sister Susannah a question, because she's been asking us questions. Flipping the host. Okay, sister, why do you love writing anthologies with me? You could partner up with Mike. You could partner up with anybody.
That would be dumb.
Well, so before I answer that one, I'm gonna add one more thing into it. And Mary talked about the marketing and how she doesn't want to get involved with it. But what a lot of people don't understand, and some of you touched on it when you talked, sis, but look at the marketing that we provide that doesn't exist. I mean, Mary's here on this show. She was on the TV show. That's not going to happen with most anthologies. They're not doing anything like that. They're just, they might throw people on a podcast or they do something, but we try to make sure that everybody's got that recognition that they're out there. In terms of your question, quite frankly, there's nobody else I'd rather work with. The foundation of everything is trust. Mike said it when I talk. The book is Against the Grain, Finding Belonging in a World of Resistance. When I talk about belonging, the foundation to be in any space where you feel like you belong is trust. You can't be in a space of belonging without that trust. And quite frankly, you're going to see a whole lot more in my chapter, sis, that will answer the question because that's a part of it. I can't imagine doing anything with anybody else because I know you always have my back. We're always there for each other. We can talk about anything and we don't, even if it's, I think maybe you should do this, or you're asking me, it's like, tell me I'm wrong. And if you're wrong, I will say it, but you're usually not. And so
Maturity.
that connection and in the minutes, what I have found for me, and I know this is not going to be the same for everybody else, but when you say, let's do this, half the time I don't even think about it. I just say, okay, and away we go. And what do we get at the end of it? We get one hell of a deal.
You know why, right? I'm not a
Project.
talker. Yeah.
You're not.
I will do because I'm applied research. I'm not a PhD. I'm a DBA. So what I do is I test it. Now, Mary, I have a question for you.
That's what I was hoping you would do.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Yes.
First of all, thank you so much for trusting your heart and your mind and your intellectual property to us.
Of course.
But what is your criteria of trust?
I'm not a very trusting person, honestly. I just experiences in life. I usually started off really kind of thinking everyone's good. And then, of course, that's not how the world works. And then you get betrayed once, twice, 3 times, and then it kind of shifts you on the pendulum to the other way, where you started off someone who trusts everybody, and then sometimes you shift into someone who trusts absolutely nobody. So my standard, my norm is to be distrustful. So what I use for trust, my main thing is I look at, first of all, who do I naturally believe is a good person? Like Mike, for instance, when I use him to kind of trust that this process would be good, who do I know is a good person based off of what do they consistently say? And not just what do they say, what do they actually do? Because actions are more important than words, right? Anyone can say anything, but it's what you do that kind of shows who you actually are. If you say you're always, uplifting others, but really you're posting about talking bad about someone all the time, then you're not always uplifting others. You're just saying you're uplifting others, but you actually don't, right? So I really go by what does the person say, but really what do they do to show kind of who they are? And I look at their actions and their beliefs more than anything. So that would be one of my main criteria for trusting someone is, are they consistent with their words and what they do? Do they really want to make the world a better place? Okay, well, what are they doing? Are they maybe donating funds to a good cause from something that shows me, that doesn't just tell me that they're good people trying to make the world a better place, which is what I'm all about. That's what I really want. I wanted to work with people and who want to make the world a better place and actually care. So do they just say that they care, or are they doing what you guys did and taking some funds to help plant trees and make the earth better and helping, domestic violence survive? Like, what do they actually do to show that they are caring about other people and making the world a better place? So I'm really all about consistency and actions, not just what people say. So
okay, I want to put a banner there. Consistency. I love it. Thank you for answering that question, because I think a lot of people there's so many mass people out there. They seem like they're the perfect person, they're the perfect partner, they're the perfect organization to affiliate with. And then behind the scenes, they're burning with desire to take you down.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Mike and I have seen it, right? And I know you have seen it too, right? So thank you for doing that. Now, Mike, I have a question for you. I know that you and I have worked behind the scenes also, but sometimes it's hard. I hate this. I have to take this over. I hate neutrality. I'm just going to tell you that. I try to be as neutral as possible, but at the same time, I don't like to tell people anything. I want them to see themselves, because I think that's a form of control when you're warning people, oh, watch out for this person and watch out for that person. It becomes gossip and it becomes control. So I don't. I just let it happen and let them learn their own lessons. But I am so sick and tired of good friends I've seen that gets to be neutral, but then they tend to be on the side, HE double hockey stick side. So that's what my daughter says, because she's not allowed to say that word. HE double hockey sticks side, right? Like they're on fire, but that's not going to last long because that house is going to be on fire. So my question to you is, how do you deal with people who's neutral to ensure that we could still help them?
Great question. So from experience, and especially this past year, right, being aware and working on me was the biggest thing. That was it. It's all too often easy to say, well, it's this person's fault or that thing's, it's the government's fault, anything. And the day you take personal responsibility and say, look, it doesn't mean things are right or okay. What it means is I'm responsible. I have to respond with it, right? If I don't like something, I have to deal with it. So I look at it in the same way I do positive, negative, and neutral, all the same. So first of all, my glass house is so thin you can't throw paper clips at it. So there's 2 ways I look at this: Mike the guy and Mike the leader who has responsibility. So when I look at and I get in the orbit of folks, it's real simple. Some people are just there. Like they could be either way, right? If you look at, let's call her out. Let's call out Mary. Like, so Mary's always been a good friend, always been fun, but she wasn't ready yet. So you can also define it as being neutral at this point. Well, I'm not against it. I'm not for it. So what do? Right? You know that's a good person. You watch, you see fruit. And so in my case, it's just, hey, being of value, right? So I would be there when I had an opportunity to push her up, I would, right? Just because I wanted to, not to move her in any direction. So when people are neutral, or here's the thing I'm going to say. when people show you who they are, believe it and just accept it. Don't judge it. Like I used to look at it and go, that's bad, that's good. Now I just say it is what it is, right? It's like saying, like Jim Rome used to say, why does the sun come up in the east? Don't take that class. It just does, right? It's, hey, why did that person say something they wasn't supposed to? It doesn't really matter. So I think you just look at fruit, but be patient with people, right? I have a lot of patience. I have a lot of heart because people go through stuff. I did stuff I'm not proud of. I did things, I made mistakes as a human. So I think there's two things going on. Have grace and have compassion with people, but also be very discerning. Just because I have patience and realize and want to be there for you doesn't mean I can be. Doesn't mean I can elevate you in my business and things. So I think sometimes we get confused and just if this person's not ready to play or if it's negative, back off and be distant for a little while. And I think that's the most mature thing you can do. It's not silent treatment. It's not gaslighting. It's mature. It's saying, listen, if I say one more thing, it's gonna make shit worse. So I'm not gonna say one more thing. I'm going to bring it back. So I don't know if I even answered it. But when dealing with people, I just have very internal boundaries. I have little parameters. And if somebody goes outside of that, I just leave them be and move on and do great things. That way I keep the door open. But I think it takes a lot of discernment, research, and watch people. Don't just jump right on in willy-nilly. Do like Mary said and really pay attention, right? Ask people. I tell people all the time, hey, don't DM me about the hounds. Of course, I'm going to say it's great. Go ask somebody else in the hounds that's in the chat today, right? Like, go get that opinion. Go to the group call, man. Don't even take my word for it. And I think that's the transparency is probably the key word I should have started with and save 5 minutes. Is just say, hey, don't take my word. Put me to the fire. That's why I like Michelle. Michelle, I know Michelle. That's what she does. She looked into the HOB. Then she said, oh, it must be good. Because if it wasn't, she'd probably be like, I'm not coming for X. So in other words, I don't set standards for other people that I don't try to strive for myself. Does that make sense? I just go out there and attract people who are ready, and I try to be gracious with those who aren't. And sometimes it's easier said than done. But the good news is that it doesn't matter what other people do. Right? I'm going to be an oak tree and see a tumbleweeds. And the result of that is the longevity. People see that, right? Other people come to our orbit because they say, they can hear what they want to hear, bad or good about me, but they see it. They say, oh, what did you do? What's your work? That's why I'm writing with you, because I know what work you do. It's over and over consistent, right? That's why I want to be around Mary, because she's consistently pushing me up, and she's always, and also telling me when things aren't okay. That's another thing. The real friends will tell you got a booger on your face, right? Like, you don't want me to go to live stream, CJ sees a
Let me
booger and doesn't
laugh
tell me about it.
first. Let me laugh first,
Right,
and then
right.
afterwards.
He already knows you're going to do that, sis. He already knows that. I'm gonna step in because one of the things I want to make sure we do is note how, and Mike kind of touched on this. Everybody's talked about trees, so I'm going to go back to the fact that the giving back part. It's and of course it's like I'm looking at the how long we've been on. It's like, wait a minute, this is not CJ's show. This is my show. So this is not a 54-minute done.
Yeah, you're fine.
but when we look at what we have done for the 4 books so far, the first thing you did was went and took for Beyond Boundaries, Thriving in Life's Gray Zone was to plant trees in Madagascar. You had this whole purpose and reason, and then it's like, well, and we also check off like 5 of the SDGs for Sustainable Development Goals that are part of the UN. Then for the next book, for Moving Beyond Boxes, that we ended up putting the trees in Honduras. Mm-hmm. And part of that was because you're like, oh, I ended up with a tree in Honduras. So it's like, well, crap, let me just put this one into Honduras and we'll build 2 forests. So it's whatever comes in over time. And then the last one, because we lost our dear sister, who is like, she was so excited to be a part of that anthology too, to be a rebel with a cause, because she was a rebel with a cause.
She was.
And so then because of all the stuff that happened and what other people were saying, we're like, the first thing you did was go, okay, this one's going to go towards something that was important to her. And that's where, but you did a double whammy with that one, dear, because you had the workbook as well. Yeah. So you're
that one's just a notebook. That was just a notebook. Yeah.
but you get the notebook and we've got the book, and they go together, but they're separate. And if I remember right, you're sending them separate places.
Yep.
And
Two
then
nonprofits, mental health and autism. Yep.
exactly. And then this one is going towards domestic violence, because we've got somebody, we've got a nonprofit we're connected with, and so that's what this one's going to be.
And I'm aboard.
You're on the board, and Agape is
The founder.
the founder and an author. So we've got everybody, and that's why it's. I mean, Mary started talking about this, the giving back, and that's become another piece that we want to make sure everybody knows about. And I'm sitting here, I'm just going to say it aloud. I think we need a book mem that includes something about where all of these are going, a carousel or something that has. So I was like, I'm going to plant the idea because sister knows how to. She's probably got it done now.
Actually, I already have it on the catalog, on my other catalog that I didn't share with you, but it should be put on there because I'm going to create a directory of people that you can affiliate yourself with. And also with Mike, you know, I've known Mike, for 2 years, but he hasn't become a sister until recently, right? So I have a very short circle, really tiny circle, right? Because I don't need a big circle. I don't need all best friends. I don't need anything. I don't need, a lot of people to fulfill me, because I want peace and happiness. Peace and happiness. That's my goal every day. And the more people that you think you have, the more drama you have. I don't need that. I don't want wrinkles yet, okay? I want, when I turn 50, no wrinkles yet. And so more friends just means more wrinkles. I'm not doing that. But I need to go back to Dr. Mary, though. I need my teeth perfected because I grind at night.
Yeah, I want that smile like you two have, because it's like you can see the teeth, and with me, it's like they don't.
Yeah, but she needs to fix my eyes.
Don't get all we're gonna clap. Look at those teeth deserve.
I can't see when I wake up. Look. Okay.
We love Mary. See, that's what now we're teasing her. That means she's one of us too. See that? Right. Good job. That's a good sign. You say, "Hey, I'm one of the girls now," and then that means you're gonna do a lot more.
That's so sweet.
A lot more stuff.
Honor. That's like an honor.
When is our book coming out?
Our book comes out on next Friday.
So exciting!
It's not on Kindle, right?
It'll come out on Kindle on the 6th, and then we'll have the paperback version the following week, so that it's out in time. So that'll be by the 13th. 14th. I think 14th is the goal on that one. And so getting it out by the 14th, then for the authors, because we try to keep things as inexpensive, especially at the beginning, as possible, the authors can then get as many copies as they want, and there's their Christmas presents or whatever holiday that they're doing presents for. And then we've got it out there, and we're in that marketing space right now. And I have a feeling between the two of us, a lot of our books are going into some sort of a Black Friday sale, because I'm gonna do it with my 2 books. I'm gonna do something with prices so that within the next couple of days, by Thanksgiving, they're at a lower price, and therefore I'll probably go through the weekend, through Cyber Monday.
Yeah, my Mike to Millions is already 50% off right now, because I really want business people to realize their full potential going on podcasting and things like that. It's not as easy as you think. Oh, just push a button. No, there's strategy to it. Okay, but there's ways that you can do it, and that's why partnering up with us helps you elevate. There's no money involved in terms of like thousands and hundreds of dollars. It's just a basic minimum to run our program. That's it. So yeah, any last minute thing, Dr. Mary, and then we go to Mike, and then to our sister.
Well, I think I'm going to cry when the book comes out. I think I'm actually like, when I get the copy, I think I'm going to actually cry. Then I'm going to message everybody. Oh my God, look at what you guys did. So thank you so much for having me on, and just for this opportunity to make like a dream come true. I think everyone should work with you guys. You guys are just great people. You make everything just it was just a beautiful experience. So, so thank you so much. That's all I got.
It's been great having you as a part of this. Yes, she loves her. I don't know if it's the AI or if it's her computer, but it's been great working with you on this.
Yay.
And just the way you've approached it has been a lot of fun for me, actually. You have the questions, and I get those moments where I can just say, you need where I think I was able to give you some lessons of like, you don't need to think like that. Now let's get you back on track, and away you go.
There's a lot of time. There was like this one time where I doubted myself, where I just remember this going beyond the book for just my experience with working with you guys and Susannah, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake and I did this wrong. So I'm going to fix this and send this to you the right way. And Susannah's like, no, you did it the right way. Everyone else did it the wrong way. You did it the right way. Don't doubt yourself. And I was like, oh my gosh, I do that a lot. I do doubt myself and just think everyone else is right sometimes. And I'm the one wrong. But that was a moment from this whole experience that went kind of beyond just writing the book, where I'm like, she's right. Like, oh my gosh, I was right. Like, it was just a great experience too, to kind of come to that realization that I'm kind of down on myself sometimes. Maybe I should stop.
Well, we'll
add this word.
Conversation then.
Add 2 words. Every time that you doubt yourself, and you're basically, it's a perfectionism, because I get that, right? So this is what I get sassy and with myself, because I have like 7 different CJs in my head. So when I make mistakes, I'm like, oh man, that was really wrong. And I get heart palpitations because I felt like I let myself down in that person. Then my sassy CJ comes in. So what if you made mistakes? Fix it. So just add those 2 words. So what? So what? You make a mistake. Move on. Let's just fix it, right? Yeah. Mike?
That'll be on her next cup on YouTube when she's selling the Level Up. So what?
So what?
I got 3 words. And CJ had 2. Don't copy me. All right. If Susannah gives a command and you're like, oh, who should I copy? It's not me. I'm probably the dude you should do opposite of. And hey, let me share this, because people are here. I'm gonna say something silly. I'm gonna get hurt, but it's okay. So Susannah, God bless her soul, talks to me like I know what's going on. I love it. Like, so she said, hey, Mike, do this. And it's like saying, hey, my computer wants a cheeseburger. So I'm like, I really want to do what Susannah is telling me, but I am not capable of the moment, right? So then I'll be like, CJ, help me, right? And then they'll go back and be like, yeah, it's Mike. And they're like, yeah, we know, let's help me. So my point is, even if like that's what goes back to the maturity and the belonging and all that stuff really matters, because I don't feel stupid. They know that I'm doing my best, and they go rally around instead of yelling at me, why is this not double space? It's like, okay, let's help him double space it, right? And it goes a long way for me. So like, I'm just trying to tell the people who are so terrified to get this done, it's accessible, affordable, and you're in good hands. People are not going to judge you and treat you wrong. They're going to do the right thing in their best ability, and that's what's most important. So I appreciate the everything, because I didn't want to do this, and I'm so glad I did it. So don't say yes and no until you explore and know what you're saying yes and no to, guys, because I would have missed 2 opportunities if I had said no, and that would have been a shame.
But we never let you down, though. Like, even if you make mistakes, we don't let you down. Like, right? And if I'm like so harsh on something, and I'm like, oh man, I feel bad, so I dump it on Susannah. I'm like, sis, do something, because I think my brain's like bouncing somewhere. And if Mike comes in like, I want to be perfect for Susannah's eyes, but I'm like, I got you. I'll handle sister. We'll be fine. It's all good in the neighborhood. And then I'll be like, sis, I got him. He's like, okay. She doesn't worry what I do. I don't worry what she does. We just do it, because the thing is, we've worked so much on so many projects that she knows I will never let her down, ever. And if I did let her down, it's not because it was intentional, ever, right? And I will work 50 hours, if there was 50 hours in 24 hours, to make sure that it's perfect all the way through, as much as humanly possible, because it's my name on it. I pride myself on pushing people up, not pushing people down. But here's the thing, Mary, I want you to watch. Most people who are in our anthologies gets poached by others. I just laugh so bad. And then they turn bad apple. Like, what is happening? Anyway, sister, take it over before I'll rant on something else I shouldn't.
Well, no, you get your last word before I finish it up. So is that your last word, or do you want to?
You want to redo?
My last word. Okay.
Because it's already out there.
Buy the book. And are we doing it 24? Are we doing 24 or 48 for free on Kindle?
I know what we tend to do, but it will be
24.
It will be free for at least 24.
Okay, so we want to share our story as much as possible. Really, guys, what we're asking you is read a chapter or two and give us feedback. That's why, okay? That's really what we're asking is read the stories and support people, right? It's not supporting us necessarily. It's supporting everybody in the community to get their stories out there. There's 8 billion people. Hello. You know what I mean? Like, let's go and support each other. That's my last word. Go ahead.
Okay. No, it's been great having everybody here. I think I need to get Mary on alone so I can let her talk a little bit more.
Once you get me going, I won't stop. I can go on and on.
It's
Mike
not
knows
a problem with that. I mean, you see the other two. Once they get going, they can just keep going. And I can say that because they know I'm speaking the truth here. And it's like, I love them both. Trying to get in a word in edgewise at times can be interesting, but hey, we figure this out. I learned from CJ how to do that. But it's been great having everybody, and this book it's been a lot of fun. There've been a lot of, and CJ knows I've gone through. I mean, I thought the last book had a lot of stuff that I had to go through before we finally finished that one out. And it's like, this one's got its own stuff I've had to deal with while trying to get the book out as well. So it's gonna be fun when this is finally done. We get to put it to bed and give everybody what they need so they can start posting about it. In fact, it's like we'll be posting about it until Sunday night, and then nobody's going to hear anything about it. So get the word out now, because it's going to be quiet next week. We're going to take some time to rest while we're waiting for the book to come out. and then all HE double hockey sticks breaks loose and we have fun. It's always double hockey sticks.
Dude, the corniness level is adorable on this show. You know that, right? Like, it's so corny. It's cute. As you know what? It's just, oh my goodness, I'm so happy.
It's gonna happen when I've got you and CJ on. I mean, that's just
seriously, man. It's like a whole, it's like a whole farm of corn, man. That's what she and I do. Just disrupt this. Yeah, but we try. I'm behaving today. That's the scary part, man. I'm actually trying to behave. But no, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys, and again, it's nice to go and have a place where you fit in and you can just do good things, and that's all it is. If somebody else is better served elsewhere, I'll send them elsewhere. It's not about us, man. We just want people to go out there and live freely and have fun and be as safe as possible. That's all it is, and I'm glad it worked. I'm glad we attracted Dr. Mary and other amazing people, and that's it, man. If we just want to do more for people. It's not one life-changing story a week ain't enough. Now we want 10 a week, 20 a week, right? Like now that's what we're scaling up for, and this book is a great way to get that going. So the hounds are excited. You ladies are amazing, and just can't thank you enough.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. It's been great, and it's been a fun conversation. And I knew it was going to be. Once I know who's here, it's like I know what's going to happen. And there were no surprises. And you Homer cry. So way to go, Mike.
And we had the best smile you can find on LinkedIn here with us, right? So don't be hiding that. You be proud of your smile, dadgummit. You earned it. Look, Nazi all said, "Oh, you better quit."
She's hiding it now.
Look at her blushing.
Love you guys.
Yay. Job's done.
All right. It's been a blast.
This was so fun.
Oh, it was. I loved it. So we'll say goodbye now, and I will see everybody next week. Bye.
Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
See ya.